Lawrence, welcome to the John and Ken Show.
How you doing, John and Ken?
We're doing all right. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm out here feeling great because I'm on the program.
All right, tell us how it is that you are one of the co-founders of the Crips.
No, I'm not the co-founder. I'm the founder of the Crips.
And you call yourself the Godfather?
I'm the godfather of the Crips and the Bloods. In 1968, Raymond came to me and pulled out the baby's crib. Tookie never knew Raymond Washington. That's a big lie to promote himself as being the founder when he's not the founder.
All right, wait, don't get ahead of us here. First of all, you were explaining how the Crip name came about. Explain that.
Raymond in 1968.
That's Raymond Washington.
He lived down the street from Fremont. I was in Avalon Guards. Raymond Lee Washington came up to me, Jimel Barnes, and said, Jimel, cuz, I have something to show you, cuz. I said, cuz, not realizing what I said, and said, cuz, what do you got to show me? He reached into his blue khakis and he pulled a picture of a baby's crib. I looked into his khakis and said, Raymond, that's a picture of a crib. He said, cuz, you're born a baby, you die a crib. You and me, Jimel, are going to start the Crips. 20 to 30 years from now, this gang going to be worldwide.
Now, where did Tookie come into this?
That was in 1968.
Right.
From that day forth, me and Raymond was the godfathers, the beginning of the Crips. We buried Raymond in 1979. I was one of the pallbearers. I went out with Willie Calhoun and recruited Tookie in Compton in 79 and 80.
Why is it repeated often that Tookie was the co-founder going back to 1971?
Because Tookie is mentally disturbed. He's stupid for thinking he's the founder when that was his dream, was to be like me and Raymond Washington. Sandra Cope brought me a paper for me to sign 10 years ago, and it said the Supreme Court said the founders of the Crips was Raymond Lee Washington and Jimel Barnes. I tried to get a copy of that. They wanted me to sign blaming all the stuff on Raymond and me.
So now everybody wants credit for founding the Crips. Jimel, though, explain, was he a member of the Crips? Because these murders were committed in 1979.
He was a member of the Crips, but he's a second generation.
Oh.
He's not from the first OG.
Was he a
He went
leader?
to Washington High. He didn't go to Fremont High.
Was he a leader at the time that he was in the Crips and he ascended to the top echelon?
I put him on the top because I took him from a little kid and busted him up within 3 years. I took him from a 14-inch arm for my bodybuilding program and threw him up to a 25. Because Rosie Greer came and got me and introduced me to Joe Reeder and took me out to Gold's Gym. So when Tookie came to me at the boys' home in Compton, and he said, I heard of you and Raymond. I want to be like you and Jimel and Raymond. So I started buffing him up and teaching him how to lift weights. So then I didn't want to take steroids because I've never been, doing steroids. I never did drugs. So I went and got Tookie eventually and buffed him up, saved his life, and introduced him to Arnold Schwarzenegger 25 years ago.
Now, that's really fascinating. So Tookie, people who've seen the pictures of Tookie from the 1970s, those arms are huge. I mean, so that wasn't steroids, that was all done
That
naturally.
was all natural on my program. He's sitting up on death row with his mouth closed because he called himself punishing me. I wish I could get in the cell with him, and you can see who the founder is. I would whoop Tookie's ass.
I'd like to see
For
that.
a day. They need to put us in that ring, put me in San Quentin. We can go brass knuckles. Tookie never knew Raymond Washington.
Now, you introduced Tookie to Schwarzenegger.
Right. That was at Gold's Gym in Venice. I spent 30 years up in there. This is 900 pounds.
Describe that incident.
Okay. Once I took him out of Compton because the blood shot up his sorry ass, I busted him up on the west side. I said, next week, I'm going to go introduce you to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold's getting ready to be a movie star. That's when he was two-time Mr. Olympia before he was getting ready to be a star. I knew that from hanging around Goals and working out at Goals. I said, okay, Tookie, here he comes. Arnold pulled up in a burgundy Rolls Royce, and Arnold got out the car and said, Jamal. He calls me Jamal. How you doing? I said, I want to introduce you to a young man that I brought in the Crips, my protege that I taught how to lift weights. This is Tookie Stanley Williams. He want to be Mr. Olympia. Tookie got off the wall and flexed to Arnold, and Arnold was in love with him. He just went crazy over him. Said, you trained him. You did an amazing job. I want to make you Mr. Olympia. And this is what made me mad, why you never hear about me, and they call me being punished, is because we had a big fight because Tookie talked to Arnold and flexed on Arnold and said, I'm going back to the ghetto, and turned down being Mr. Olympia, and 6 months later he went to death row.
Do you think this is going to help him get clemency from the governor because he knew him back then?
I don't want him to get clemency. He should die.
So Schwarzenegger wanted to make him Mr. Olympia.
Right.
And Tookie said, no, I'm going to the ghetto, and that caused a rift between you and Tookie.
Right, and we haven't spoke since. Dropped him back off on 69th and Beacon. Then 4 years ago, Before Arnold became the governor, I was up at SC trying to get my film pushed in my script. And Arnold popped out the limo with Jay Leno and said, Jamal, how you doing? Before I could say anything, he said, where's the guy that you brought in the Crips? Where's the guy that you buffed up, that Tookie guy? I said, Arnold, he's on death row. That's unfortunate. Do you know he said that he wished he was the governor, and 6 months later, he was the governor?
Wow.
Arnold should exclude himself and not let Tookie free because Tookie is a pedophile.
Tookie is a pedophile?
He's a pedophile.
That's a new charge.
Oh, what do you know about that?
I know police officers, like my cousin, and other police officers that Tookie used to chase when they was 8 years old, that are police officers now.
Boys or girls?
Boys.
Tookie used to chase little 8-year-old boys. Did
That's
he
right.
did he catch any of them? Did he do anything bad?
He caught one of them and raped him and sodomized him, and that's why they got shot up in Compton, and that's why I took him up out of Compton and took him to the West Side. He is a cold-blooded murderer.
Now, when did you leave the Crips yourself?
I left early on because I left early on the Crips because I knew it wasn't no future in the Crips. And I tried to get Tookie and people like these rappers like Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Doggy Dogg and all that to do positive things. I'm totally against this killing kid. Totally not cool.
You believe he should be executed, Jimel. Why?
Tookie is using everybody to get everybody food to get off death row. Tookie haven't converted. He's not a Christian. Tookie is a cold-blooded killer.
What about
Tookie was in the boys' home when I met him and recruited him into the Crips for trying to rape his sister.
Well, yeah, these things are terrible, but they don't compare to actually murdering 4 people.
Right.
What about the books? What about the Nobel Peace Prize nominations?
They did that to sell books, to make
Jimel, we can't use the F word on the air, okay? Start again and explain about Snoop Dogg.
What about Snoop Dogg?
Yeah.
I seen him at the San Quentin talking about Tookie is the reason why he's up there. He is lying through his teeth. Snoop and Dre and Ice Cube and all these NWA, I used to go with Eazy's mama. I raised them. I made them famous. They left Big Daddy.
How did you make him famous?
Because I had a 6'4", and I used to be in Compton and taking them to the parks and teaching them how to rap. And they used to be telling me, I was so busy lifting weights at Gold's Gym, I didn't know you could make money from that.
What do you do now with your life, then?
What do I do now?
Yeah.
Teach boxing. I teach personal training. I'm trying to make a movie. I got a script. I'm trying to do a book.
All right,
Teaching kids they should praise God. Don't praise Raymond. Don't praise me. Don't praise Tookie. Praise Jesus.
So you don't even believe Tookie's innocent because he claims there's problems with the evidence, the jury.
Yeah, what do you...
Guilty because Tookie always used to be talking about robbing people. Tookie went over there and killed those people, and the people that he killed them with, which was Al Capone, Sweetback, and this other person, they turned in state evidence. He killed them with his pump that was registered in his name. He should keep it in the boys' home.
But you don't have any specific knowledge from that time that leads you to believe he killed these people. Were you around? Were you communicating with Tookie or any of these other guys?
I was communicating with everybody. Tookie is guilty.
So the word on the street back then was that he killed those 4 people.
He killed them and laughed. He would go around describing how he killed the person in 7-Eleven. Gurgle sounds to other people.
And where would you hear this?
I would hear it from a lot of Crips. He would be prances around South Central. See, Tookie thinks you got to kill somebody to become the founder of the Crips. Tookie thinks that you got to kill somebody to be an OG, and that's not what it is. An OG is a person like Jimel that builds up the neighborhood, that look out for senior citizens, that take up for the neighborhood, and don't kill people hand to hand.
Now, what about these stories that he's still a gangster in prison and he's not renounced the Crips?
Tookie still is a Crip, and he still is running the Crips on the street.
How do you know that?
How do I know that?
Yeah.
Because he used to send messages to that lady through Crips, Barbara McNash.
Barbara Becknell.
Which I told her when I grabbed Ice-T recently at an airport 10 years ago and said, Barbara, do not make no children's books about Tookie. Do not put Tookie on a pedestal like that because he has problems with kids. She said she was going to do it anyway and that I was never going to get no credit. So for 10 years, Barbara McNash, Maxine Waters, and everybody's been stealing my hype with Raymond and Jimel, giving all the credit to Tookie.
If you had one thing to say to all these Hollywood celebrities, that are now carrying the flag,
Jamie Foxx, Mike Farrell.
claiming that Tookie ought to be given clemency, that Tookie is innocent. What would you tell them?
I would tell them that they need to go back to Hollywood and leave Tookie alone to die. Tookie deserves to die because I believe in the death penalty. The only reason why I haven't killed up everybody myself is because I don't want to end up next door. And Tookie's mad because everybody wanted me next door to Tookie, but I changed my life. So they need to just go back to Hollywood and stop trying to use him like a prop. Tookie is a prop.
All right, Jimel Barnes, thanks for coming on with us. We'll talk to you again, we think.
All right.